Hello everybody and welcome again. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, this PowerBook G4 here has a noisy cooling fan. It's not in general noisy, but unless it's laying flat on a desk, it makes noise. So I purchased from eBay a replacement fan plus heatsink kit. The heatsink kit is not for the same model. Maybe it will fit, maybe not. But in case it doesn't fit, I'm gonna take the fan out of here and install in the current heatsink. For that, I have my trusty iFixit screwdriver set, and it should have all the tools I need to disassemble this PowerBook properly. Of course, I recorded the thermal performance of the computer before I switch it off. So you see here how it performs 20 minutes idle, 20 minutes with high CPU load, and 20 minutes with high GPU load. What are the temperatures and what are the fan speeds? You see it below. And taking the chance I'm disassembling the computer, I'm gonna apply new thermal paste. I don't know much about that because I'm not a builder, but I've heard this is good. I bought a lot of it because I'm gonna be using the same one on my Quad G5. I'm gonna replace the whole pump system, the liquid cooling system, and install a new one. And of course, since I'm gonna disattach it, I'm gonna have to replace the thermal compound as well. So we start with the battery. I always have some coins around, so you just have to stick it here and rotate, and the battery should pop. Alright. This is the first time I take this battery off, and it's of course not an original battery. It looks as made in China as it gets, and it doesn't hold any charge anymore. It can keep the computer on for 5 minutes tops, but it's enough to hold the battery, the clock. Now I'm gonna just take out the RAM cover door and lay the screws here in sequence. So when I assemble the computer back, I'm just gonna do it in the reverse order. I've had computers before that ended up with less screws than when I started disassembling them. This is not the first time I disassemble such PowerBook. A friend of mine had one brand new, and I don't remember what I had to do with it, but I remember it was very painful to disassemble. There are millions of screws in this thing. I remember it was very painful to take these screws here off, but it seems that the previous owner didn't do a great job in putting them back. Yeah, they are very loose. There doesn't seem to be anything left down here, so I'm gonna turn the computer to the side. Now what I don't know is this enough to lift the keyboard or not? I'll switch the camera off now just to have a look in a better position. Okay, now the important thing to do here is to remove the Airport Extreme card. So open this latch here. And it probably goes around, maybe around the cable here. Take the cable out. And pull the card out. I'm not sure this is the model that comes with the Airport card. There's something blocking the wire. Oh, there is indeed something blocking the wire. So I am not gonna do anything with it. It's gonna stay right there. And I'm gonna roll this thing back. So the take apart manual from PowerBook Medic I was checking mentions that one should remove the airport card, but I am not gonna do it. Remember now, right there is a hidden screw that has to be removed. It's hidden underneath the mat here, and I need to use a Phillips head screwdriver. So back to the Phillips head screwdriver here. I replace the tip and
then replace it together with the ram screws. Come on. Get out already. I'll fix this later. Alright. Now back to business.
I should now do something with the keyboard. Good that I decided to check, because there are hidden screws underneath the F keys, and I should remove F1, F2, F11 and F12. Let's use the thing. Sorry, I'm blocking your view probably. I'll take this key off. F1, F2, F11, right on this side. And F12. Apparently this has never been taken apart because the seals are still here. I'll try to remove the seals. It's not really seals, like a sticker. I'm going to try to remove the stickers without making them unusable.
And without damaging what is around. And one I managed.
Another Phillips screwdriver head. The second one. is right there. Let me refocus.
Yeah, from the right side.
From the right side, from your perspective, it seems to be easier. It's almost flew away, but I have it. And now I should be able to
Remove.
keyboard screw, and it comes up very easily, so it's not a big deal. Keyboard screw 1. Keyboard screw 2. And now the keyboard should come up. So now with the lovely tweezer, I should be able to lift, oh yes, the keyboard, and let's see where they're connected. Yeah, I see. Now there are down here many screws. So I'm just going to do this real quick, and let's go for the uh-oh. We have one non-collaborative screw. Oh, it's good. No problem. And if I took everything off, it should start coming up. I'm gonna do it off the camera. Alright, so I was recording before, but then I ran out of memory in my camera. The reason why it was so difficult to open this is there's a small bend here caused by some frontal impact, and it's making some pressure inwards towards the center of the computer. It's maybe 1/3 of a millimeter, but definitely this is enough to really increase the pressure that is required to lift this. And that's probably the reason why this edge here is broken, as I mentioned when I unboxed the computer. So my initial plan called for really doing different tests with this computer, installing SSD here, and then installing the second SSD on the special optical drive tray. But now that I know that it's really hard to take it apart because of this small incident, I'm gonna plan differently. I'm gonna initially keep the optical drive here, remove the factory hard drive, and then when I get the second SSD next month, I'm gonna then move it, the SSD that I'm getting on Friday, to the optical drive bay, install the second SSD here, and do the final installation. Or I don't know, I might keep both hard drives, already remove this one. I'm gonna see, because I also should check the adapter for the optical bay tray before, you know, before the time to give it back, return it in case I don't like it, expires. So let's continue. I will rotate now here, and I need to use the super special tool, maybe this way, to remove the connectors. One. And this is off. I'm sorry for the camera. Alright, it's out. I've inspected the damage. So here, it's out of the place, and I'm gonna have to fix it somehow. Yeah, that's why it was probably glued together. Alright. It has clicked back in place. If you look at this part, it's bent outwards quite significantly. Yeah. Has to put it back in place. I'm going to inspect all of this before I put it back together. And it seems that our heat pipe kit fits. It has the same shape, but apparently this one here is more modern. It has more threads it has a same surface but more threads for heat dissipation. The fan is different though. I cannot use this because this fan has 4 wires and this one has only 3. That's very unfortunate, so I'm gonna probably post this back on eBay. But maybe if I clean this one up and add new thermal paste and reassemble the whole thing, I'm gonna be good to go. Maybe down here, maybe the position of the chips are different. So I just found out that actually removing the optical drive is the last thing that you do after removing absolutely everything from the computer. So this is going to end up being really a full take apart. So now that we are in, let's get going with the hard drive removal. Replacing the hard drive is relatively easy, and I could give up of my RAID PowerBook, but I will not do that. Maybe I should wait for a 15-inch one to pop up and make the same, repeat the same experiment, but this was my initial goal and it's going to have to happen. Could replace that battery as well. I know the clock battery is dead, but I don't have it. So the next step is to remove the logical board, and I can see here the cables have a very interesting routing around the heatsink. So alright, cables are out. So next,
Sorry for the line. One. Two.
the thingy pops out. So this board now should pop out. Oh, no, no, no. I have to remove these screws as well. Alright, I'm going to switch the camera off again for inspection. So in the end it's very easy. I was just being an idiot. I should have used a flat 2 and then you just have to poop, poop. Not poop, poop, but poop. DC board is out. Right, now it's time to remove the modem. Back to the Philips. Philips in. Screw out. Philips in. Screw out. The screw is starting to be too heavy. Interesting how much space the modem takes. And should be able to just pop it out. And remove the modem cable.